95% Group is an education company focused on helping teachers identify and effectively address the needs of struggling readers. Over the past 14 years, we've successfully partnered with state departments of education and regional education agencies, and have worked with over 1,800 school districts and 3,200 schools. Our work focuses on building educator foundational knowledge about reading development to significantly improve student outcomes. Hello, I'm Dr. Susan Hall, co-founder and CEO of 95% Group. I've been working in the field of literacy for over 25 years. My resolve to assist struggling readers and my passion for preparing educators to better support early reading evolved from my own personal experience in raising a child who struggled to read. When my son was in first grade, he asked me why he was in the top math group and the lowest reading group. I told him that I didn't know, but I was going to find out. As you can imagine, I was very concerned about making sure that my son had everything he needed to become a good reader. I was amazed and disheartened to discover that research-based instructional practices were not being used in my son's classroom. What I also learned was that many teachers, by no fault of their own, were not equipped with the knowledge and resources to help struggling readers like my 6-year-old son. Our perseverance paid off, and I'm proud to report that our struggling reader is now a successful licensed architect. Through this experience, my passion and commitment to help other children led me to my life's work, which is to support educator preparedness so that teachers know how to teach all students to read, particularly in the elementary years. As a result, if this were easy, we wouldn't need to have this session today. There really are no silver bullets to how to help all students learn to read. And you all have experienced that every day. You see these different children that come into your classrooms, or that if you're a principal, you're walking around and watching different instruction going on. And teaching reading really is, as my co-author and friend Louisa Motes says, it is rocket science. And it's very technical, and there are technical parts of teaching reading. And then there's the human side and the engagement side and the connecting side. So it is very complicated. And we have to hold in mind many complex things to teach a child who isn't acquiring it easily. So I want to talk to you about these success factors. So our topic today is about 10 success factors. And the reason that I've chosen that title is it's about what the schools that are getting really good results are doing. And one of the things that's hard as a consultant is you see a lot of schools, and I'm very fortunate because I get to go see a lot of different schools. And our whole consulting team, when you look at all the schools that we're in a year, we see a lot of practices around the country. And what's clear is some schools are getting phenomenally good results, and others who are working perhaps equally hard are not getting as good a results. And so it's not about how hard we work, because I'm sure that everyone here is working very hard. You would not have given up your Friday morning. You would not be here today if you didn't care deeply about this topic, and if you aren't trying to do lots to help improve reading outcomes for all students. The key is that some schools are doing some things that are making a tremendous difference in the outcomes. So some schools are in fact getting phenomenal results. And as I thought about it over the last few years, it wasn't like I really wanted to write another book, but I felt like there was something that had to be said. And so I decided that I wanted to write about these 10 success factors. And it wasn't originally 10. It went from being 12 to 7. And then finally it was like, no, I gotta wind it down to 10. 10's a good number. No, actually, I really did get it to 10. I didn't want to make it 9 or 11. That's not as catchy. So I got it to 10. But 7 would have been okay. But 10 is kind of catchy, right? So I did get it down to 10 success factors. And this is what I have learned from watching so many schools like yours, and perhaps even some of you here in the audience. I've actually been in some of your schools. And I'm looking that way because I have been in Dysart schools before. And I've been in many here in the Arizona area, but elsewhere in the country as well. So I want to talk about the things that are important. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to list all 10 first, and then I'm going to go one by one and spend more time on each of them. So here they are, group by skill deficit. And of course, I'm talking about what we do for the students who aren't acquiring reading easily with our Tier 1 core program. So what do? This is all under that framework that we now call RTI or MTSS. So it's small group differentiated instruction that is based on data. It's based on providing instruction that will help students to achieve reading better. And the first thing we have to do is when we're thinking about offering small group intervention instruction, it has to be by skill deficit. I'll talk about the difference between ways of grouping, but this is critical. But in order to do that, you have to use diagnostic assessments. And so I am an assessment junkie. I love assessment data. It might surprise you to know that nothing makes me happier than looking at student data. And I do it a lot. I find ways to work with the data still, and I do, with different schools and districts that we work with. And I get in and I search around at in the data system that they're using. I pull off reports, and I look at either individual student data, I look at classroom data, I look at grade level data, and I look across the years at data. So we need lots of data to do this work. We couldn't do it without it. But you have to have diagnostic assessments to be able to group by skill deficit. Now this third one is an interesting one because this one has to do with how you deliver your small group instruction. And there are lots of ways to organize to provide small group time during perhaps your intervention block, but some are more effective than others. And so I just have to say that my observations and the data that I look at confirm that if you use this approach to delivering your intervention, you will get better results. And I'll explain what that is when we get there. And then monitoring progress. And of course, we all are monitoring progress. We all know we're supposed to, and we all do it. The thing is, are we using the best assessment to monitor the progress? That's where I find the schools that get better results do this by matching what they just taught in each skill group with how best to measure if in fact students are doing better. And then the fifth one is flood the intervention block with extra instructors. And I'll tell you about how many you need to have to get the best results when we get to that one. Number 6, use intervention time wisely. I'm going to spend quite a lot of time on this one because this one, actually it's the next one, be aware of what makes intervention effective. So use it wisely. I'll describe how to do that, how you have to look at the skills in a continuum, and then be really clear about what makes intervention instruction work. What is it that makes it effective? What are the characteristics or attributes so that if you walked by and looked at an intervention group, you'd know if the instruction in fact is likely to give better results or not. And then number 8, provide teachers with intervention lesson materials. This one will be near and dear to your hearts because so many times we're asking teachers to come up with their own lessons. And while they could do it, it's very time consuming. So I don't know that that's a good thing to do. I don't think you'll get as great of results because it's just too hard to do. Number 9, invest in professional development. This is where my heart is because I know that it's about the professional development we provide all of you more than even the stuff we buy. So it's extremely important to train teachers. Our name is our mission, to ensure that at least 95% of students read at grade level. It's that simple and that important. At 95% Group, we use a unique method to achieve this goal. First and foremost, our approach emphasizes partnership and begins with initial fact-finding discussions. During these sessions, we speak with administrators and their teams to examine student diagnostic data, review the materials and assessments they're currently using, discuss what literacy professional development has already been provided, and assess the school's current MTSS or RTI practices. After we gather this information, we create and implement a customized plan with each school or district. This solution includes an integrated mix of several things, including, first, skill continua that enable teachers to be systematic about building skills along a progression from simplest to most complex. And all of our diagnostic and instructional materials are aligned to a specific skill continuum. Second, instructional materials that are explicit and evidence-based. These resources include the lesson plans and all the necessary components to deliver small group, targeted, multisensory intervention instruction. Third, diagnostic assessment tools that work with universal screeners to further pinpoint skill deficits and monitor student progress. And fourth, our proposal includes job-embedded professional development that is led by our experienced consultants and incorporates on-site coaching, workshops, and online learning with administrators and teachers. Our PD provides consistent follow-up with all of the stakeholders to build capacity, to measure grade level improvement, and to sustain instructional change. At 95% Group, we look forward to partnering with you to support teacher preparedness and to improve student reading performance. Thank you for your time. Please feel free to contact me and visit our website for additional information.